Who is this actually good for? Who should skip it? And is it worth the price for normal everyday buyers? Those three questions have been circling my head ever since I started looking at home theater projectors for a living room upgrade. If you're the type who wants a cinemasized picture without the massive upfront cost of a 4K TV, you're probably already wondering whether a true 4K projector can actually deliver that immersive feel without turning your whole room into a maintenance nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been on a few forums where people compare a 1080p budget projector on a pull-down screen versus a true 4K unit mounted on a ceiling, and the tension always comes down to three things: brightness, color accuracy, and how much tinkering you're willing to do. The BenQ HT3550 promises 95% DCI-P3 coverage, HDR10 support, and a dynamic iris that supposedly lifts contrast in dark scenes. Those sound like headline specs you'd find on any premium model, but the real question is whether the everyday user can actually see those benefits without spending hours calibrating or buying a whole set of accessories. Let's start with the installation side of things. The HT3550 is built around a 10-element lens array that lets you adjust throw distance pretty flexibly. In my own test apartment, I was able to mount the projector 8 feet from the wall and still get a 100-inch image. That flexibility is a real plus if you don't have a dedicated home theater room. However, the trade-off shows up when you try to squeeze a larger picture into a tighter space. The dynamic iris, while great for boosting black levels in a dark room, can cause a slight flicker when the scene transitions quickly from bright to dark, something you'll notice during fast action movies or sports. If you plan to run your projector in a room where you can block out most ambient light, you'll likely never see the flicker. If the room stays partially lit, the contrast benefit may be muted and the occasional dimming artifact could be distracting. Brightness is another practical concern. BenQ lists the HT3550 at around 2,300 lumens, which is adequate for a dimmed living room but not a bright living area with windows. I tried watching a late-night news broadcast with the curtains half closed. The picture stayed readable, but the whites started to look a bit washed out once the sun peered in. That means if your setup can't achieve near-complete darkness, you might be better off with a 1080p projector that pushes a higher lumen rating, or you'll need to invest in blackout curtains and possibly an ambient light rejecting (ALR) screen to get the best experience. Now, on to color performance. The cinematic color technology BenQ touts is actually a set of predefined color gamuts that map the 95% DCI-P3 coverage onto popular standards like Rec. .709. In practice, the colors feel vivid without being overly saturated, which is what you want for a movie night. The HDR-PRO tone mapping does a decent job of preserving detail in both highlights and shadows, but it's not a full HDR experience like you'd find on a high-end OLED TV. If you're a cinephile who cares about accurate skin tones and deep blues, you'll appreciate the fidelity. If you're just looking for a big screen boost for casual shows and gaming, the difference may be subtle enough that you won't miss the deeper HDR nuance. A big part of the value proposition comes from the 3-year industry-leading warranty BenQ offers. Most projectors in this price range come with a 1-year limited warranty, so the extended coverage does give you peace of mind, especially if you're worried about lamp life. The HT3550 uses a laser light source, which BenQ claims will last 20,000 hours. In real-world usage, that translates to about 10 years of nightly movie sessions before you'd even think about replacement. That warranty plus the laser lifespan means the total cost of ownership could actually be lower than a traditional lamp-based projector that needs a new lamp every few years. Let's talk about who should actually buy this. If you're a homeowner with a dedicated media room, can control lighting, and are willing to invest a little time in getting the projector calibrated, maybe even buying a fixed frame screen, the HT3550 can deliver a true 4K experience that rivals a high-end TV in sheer size. It shines when you're watching color-rich content like Disney Plus originals, high-budget sci-fi epics, or streaming HDR movies on Netflix. Gamers who prioritize a wide color gamut and low input lag will also find it satisfying, especially since the projector's lens shift and keystone correction let you fine-tune the image without moving the unit. On the flip side, if you're a casual viewer who lives in a bright apartment, doesn't want to mount anything on the ceiling, and only watches YouTube or sitcoms, the HT3550 may be overkill. The requirement for a fairly dark room and a screen that can handle the projection surface means you'll have to spend extra on window treatments or an ALR screen just to see decent contrast. In that scenario, a 1080p DLP projector with